For the first time, this is IFBB Pro, Nick Cav checking in. Hybrid physiques. Nationals was this past weekend, and things went my way. I came in second place in the lightweight division. It was a pretty stacked class. Top two got their pro card, so I am now an IFBB Pro in men's bodybuilding. I want to talk to you a little bit about the preparation and the weight cut and what it took to get where I was. I competed at 154 and a quarter is the weight class. About a week out, I was weighing in the realm of 165, 166. And about 2 days before, I was about 164. So we're looking at a 10-pound weight cut. I was wrestling my whole life. I've cut weight hundreds of times, and 10 pounds of water previously was not a big deal. However, this was a little different as I was completely peeled, absolutely shredded. And throughout this video I'm going to be posting, you're going to be seeing screenshots, stage shots, comparisons. You can see how I stacked up against the competition. You're going to see I'm much larger than everybody on stage, height-wise, and as far as physical attributes, and there's a reason for that. I have the experience when it comes to cutting weight. My diet guru also got his pro card by cutting a significant amount of weight, so it's something we're very familiar with. We knew by fitting into the lightweight class I would have a muscularity advantage over everybody. I would have big round shoulders, a narrow waist, and naturally a little bit of a height advantage. Now, when I say advantage, it's actually a disadvantage because you'll see in the images the competitor's legs specifically look much larger than mine. However, if you take the medial point in my quad and my hamstring and you compare that to my competitor's legs, my legs are the same size, if not bigger. It's an illusion, just like bodybuilding in its entirety is an illusion. So we knew coming in, if we made weight, I'll get to that story in a second, then we would have a pretty good shot at finishing top two. So the weight cut started the morning of, I weighed 159.8 and we had to get down to 154. Normally, I can float that amount of weight, no problem, after a couple hours. And obviously, no water, that weight would traditionally come off. So at about 5:30 a.m., I had my first meal, which was about 4 or 5 rice cakes. That's it, 4 or 5 rice cakes. And 2 hours later, when I would normally be about a pound less or a pound and a half less, I was like right around the same. So we knew it was going to be a little bit of a rough ride. My hotel didn't have a sauna on site. Luckily, my mother and brother were staying in a hotel in South Beach, so I took an Uber over there. Sat in the steam room. So when I called, they said they had a sauna. Now, obviously, the difference, the sauna is a dry heat. A steam room is there's moisture in the air. So when you wick away the sweat from the surface of your skin, your body kind of immediately reacts by producing more sweat because it thinks it's in a hot environment, and you lose water weight. But in a steam room, because the humidity is high, it's steam heat, it's not dry heat. It kind of screws you up a little bit because the steam is all throughout the air. It's getting on your skin. It's not confusing your body like you designed or like you were intending to. So I did about 3 to 4 half-hour stints in a steam room, which you're already miserable. You haven't had water all day. The only thing you've had is rice cakes for the past 2 days. You're miserable. And I only lost about a half a pound. So weigh-ins were on Thursday. They were rolling weigh-in from 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock. You could weigh in at any time. The original game plan was to weigh in right at 1 o'clock so we had plenty of time to fill up. Because as you dehydrate yourself, you become super, super flat. Like I was, super, super flat. So the sooner you weigh in, the better. So in my mind, I was looking at a 1 o'clock weigh-in. But by this point in the steam room process, it was about 3 o'clock. So we were way past that. And at that point, being that, once again, the weight class is 154 and a quarter, and I was about 158 at this time, I was getting a little nervous. I was extremely dehydrated. My body was fighting. So, what option did I have left? I went for a jog on the beach in Miami with sweatpants, a t-shirt, and a sweatshirt on. Now, if any of you have competed before, you know how you feel during peak week and the day before you're trying to make weight for any event. Your legs are jello, your body's shutting down, your mind is just out there. I'm hopefully I can get my quick little snippet of my brother explaining to you. I just wasn't there. I wasn't able to kind of form sentences at this point, being extremely dehydrated. So he more or less was carrying me through this process and telling me, all right, we got to do this. My brother was a wrestler all through high school, multiple state championships, multiple open championships. He finished with like 174 wins, one of the most in Connecticut history. So he's very experienced with weight cutting. So luckily I had his experience on my side as well. I knew what I was doing. I've cut weight hundreds of times once again. But he knew the situation that was at hand. He knew I wasn't going to be fully functional. He knew I was going to be a little off mentally. So we started jogging on the beach. I did about a 45-minute jog, and just the most brutal thing you can imagine. Your legs are jello. You're in the sand. So you know how running in the sand is. It's absolutely miserable on top of it. 45-minute run, get back, weigh myself. I was about 150, I want to say 6.5. I think I lost like 1.5 pounds on that run. Still a little over 2 pounds over at this point. And you know, traditionally for wrestling, I would sit in a hot tub to lose water weight. That was my go-to. Well, in bodybuilding, you can't. As your body's dehydrated, your epidermis is the largest organ in the human body. So you submerge yourself, it's actually going to pull some water as well. So you will be sweating, sure, but you're going to be pulling water, and then you're going to add a layer or a film of water underneath your epidermis and in between your muscular layer. Not what you want as a bodybuilder. So I couldn't do that. I was sitting in the steam room. My brother went to the gas station and grabbed a bunch of sour gum. And basically, I was just completely shut down at this point. I took an Uber back to my hotel, which is about 25 minutes away. Part of the problem, too, was in this hotel, the flooring was like cobblestone. It was all uneven, so when I put my scale down, I would never get a good reading as far as my weight. So I had a general idea of what I weighed, but I didn't, you know, you have to be 154.25 exactly or less. There's no leeway. There's no workarounds. So then I had to go back to my hotel, which had even flooring. I had all this sour gum, and I just sat in the bathtub without the water on, filled my mouth with sour gum, chew, 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 and I was literally just leaning forward like this in the bathtub, hands on my face, just basically drooling saliva as much as I possibly could. When that gum ran out, I'd swap it out. That's all I could do at this point. I was just shutting down. So I got down to maybe 155.5 at this point by spitting. And then it was probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock. And my scale wasn't getting a good reading once again because even my hotel, the flooring was a little uneven. So I was like, well, I got to get to the venue and check my weight on the official scale. So I went to check in. I was right exactly the ballpark I thought I was, 155.5. Step on the scale. I was off a little bit. Had to continue spitting. Mind you, my tan is at 6 o'clock, so I need to get this done. I need to get weighed in so I can get tanned, because heavens forbid I did have to run again, my tan would get all screwed up. So I sat there on one of those big garbage cans, basically just leaning on it, filling my mouth with sour gum and spitting, filling my mouth with sour gum and spitting. And we got there. It took another try, missed it. And the third try was a go. So 154.25 was my official weigh-in. It's right on the dot for lightweight. At the conclusion of weigh-in, we put down 8 ounces of 0-calorie Powerade and 8 ounces of water. Went back to my room. I had about 1/4 of a cup, or maybe 5 tablespoons, so 1/3 of a cup of cream of rice with 6 ounces of water, because the water you're allotted for that day is all taken out of the same allotment. You can't say you're given 3/4 of a gallon on that Thursday before the show. Obviously, I'm talking about salt manipulation, sodium manipulation, fluid manipulation to maintain tightness, bringing all the fluid into your central organs, leaving your skin dry and hard. So 3/4 of a gallon, I had to take some of that out and use it for my cream of rice. So I made that. I had a muffin, a small muffin from Publix. I was in Miami, obviously. It was probably about 150 calories, a tablespoon of peanut butter, and an additional 2 rice cakes. I found that my system has a really difficult time digesting any sort of carbohydrates pretty much besides cream of rice and oat bran. So your average competitor will utilize sweet potato, white potato, oatmeal. I can't. I bloat and I start to develop gas. So during USA's Carb Up, which was 14 weeks ago, I noticed it was the potatoes that was giving me gas. So we cut the potato out. We just carved up the cream of rice, white rice, and rice cakes, and that's it. And I was able to digest that like water. Moving forward, any competitions I do, which will now be on the pro circuit, it will be a carb up with cream of rice, and the preparation will remain with cream of rice as far as carbohydrates during my prep. It's the easiest thing for me to digest. That's part of the sport as well, is finding what works for you. So if you are having digestion issues, I would highly recommend utilizing something like that, oat bran, cream of rice, white rice, and take something out and put something in. So if your pre-contest diet has you eating 4 ounces of potato, and you notice you're bloating, you're gassy, you're not digesting it, take that potato out, substitute those 4 ounces of potato, which is about, 25 grams of carbs? I'm not too sure off the top of my head. Do the conversion, do 25 grams of carbs of oat bran and then cream of rice and see how you digest it. That's how you succeed in the sport, by finding what you digest best, by finding out what works best for you. So we made weight, we had that meal, and we continued to fill out and fill out and fill out, and by the time prejudging happened, I was about 163 pounds going on stage, and you'll see that in these images. I have, I think, 2 stage shots with the fellow competitors out there. There were 16 people in my class, so you'll see that. You'll see my size has a huge advantage. And that was part of this weight cut. I knew that if I could get myself into that lightweight class, when it came time to carb up, when it came time for comparisons, I would be drastically larger than everybody. I didn't expect to be the tallest. I was the tallest by about 3 inches. But I did expect to be the largest, muscular-wise, which I was, I believe. So at Nationals, you do quarter turns, so they bring out everybody in 2 classes, 8 and 8. Quarter turns, you go off the stage. You go back on the stage, you do a 45-minute posing routine, which I'll show you in another video, and then you go off the stage. And then based on that 45-minute posing routine, which is the mandatories of just yourself, you're then put into call-outs. First call-out, second call-out, third call-out. I was in first call-outs, and I was battling. I didn't really know where I was going to finish. During the finals, when I did my routine, I had an idea that I was top 3. And coming out of prejudging, we knew, or had a feeling, that I was top 3, right around there. So after finals, the awards happened. I placed second. Got my IFBB Pro Card. I am now a 212-pound IFBB Pro in men's bodybuilding. I'm absolutely thrilled. I wouldn't have been able to do this without the support of a bunch of my friends, my girlfriend, my family, my buddy John Reardon, Justin Levy. They were with me every step of the way. My girlfriend was just a rock the entire time. You're not all there when you're prepping. And this poor thing dealt with me prepping for 8 months. I mean, I did 3 shows. Colorado Cup, USA's, and Nationals. And she was there every step of the way giving me support, along with my friends, checking in with me daily, dealing with me giving pushback because you're not mentally there, you're frustrated, you're kind of a jerk. They dealt with it the whole time. They understand they're competitive bodybuilders. So that day was my day. I turned pro, and now that I do have a lot more time, as I'm not going to be so consistent as far as 2 hours of cardio a day and 100% of meal prep, I'm going into my off season, I will be producing much, much more videos. I just wanted to get this video out there and let everybody know how I did. And any other questions you have, please comment, please subscribe. And that is Hybrid Physiques out.